Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for joining. Big shout out to everyone who's logged on live right now. So if you're tuning in live, do us a quick favor. Go ahead and type in hashtag live. That just makes sure that you guys can hear me. So go ahead and type in hashtag live or type it in number one in the chat. That lets me know you can hear me. A couple of weeks ago, I did this show live and I was talking for like probably 30 minutes. Okay. And my sound was off. So if you can hear me, go ahead and type in the number one in the chat. And again, that lets me know that my sound is good, that y'all can see and hear me because we got some great information. Hey, Marlena, welcome, sis. Thank you so much for hopping on, girl. I've been checking you out. You are doing amazing. Keep going. Keep pushing and definitely don't be consumed with doubt, right? So, LaShawn, my girl. Go ahead, LaShawn. Listen, me and LaShawn were just literally talking before we came on here, girl. I ain't going to give y'all all the tea, honey, because that's our tea. But, you know, I want to talk real quick before we jump into this conversation. I think everyone needs to hear this. I think everyone needs to hear this. So when I got a message from my show producer, not live. Oh, we're not live on Facebook yet. We're not live on Facebook yet. So I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but hopefully Facebook will do its thing. Just keep me posted, Therese. Maybe you have to re-add. Let me know, Therese. Just go ahead and re-add the destination. Just so you guys know, Therese is our show producer. She produces our live show. She's over here in the green room making sure that we are live where we need to be. So while Therese is fixing that little minor technical issue with Facebook, because we had to, Facebook does his normal, identity check, which is great. So she's going to get the StreamYard going on Facebook. But before I get started, LaShawn, Melina, we all three here. So I think this is a great conversation. Type in two in the comments if y'all like, listen, setting standards and expectations of other people is important. Type in two in the chat if you believe that, right? That number two, setting a standard, right? That's important. I think that's very important. To LaShawn and I were just talking before here because LaShawn and I were on a little training last night. Her and I both were on there together, and we saw visibly how people have standards that they expect from other people that they have not set for themselves, right? And I'm not calling anyone out. It's just stemming from the conversation her and I were a part of last night. We saw that, hey, if you're going to have a standard, you have to have a higher standard for yourself. Type in 3 in the chat if y'all get what I'm saying. Go ahead and type 3 in the chat. You got to have a higher standard. So if your standard for other people is here, like your standard, your expectations, all that is here, your personal standard has to be higher than that. Okay, because now people have something to look up to. So I think that's so important in any business, whether you're in life insurance, whether you're offering courses, whether you're in network marketing, whether you're in service-based business, no matter what business you're in, that is so important because again, people will stay with you or drop off depending upon your personal standard that you have for yourself, not so much the standard that you set for them, if that makes sense. All right, everybody. Real quickly, my co-host Meiyoko is going to be on in about probably like 10-15 minutes. He's going to jump in on today's conversation. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off, which I love to do. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Leticia Campbell. I'm a mother of 5 children. I have 3 girls, 2 boys. Pray for me, right? High school, middle school, elementary, right? All that's going on right now, right? I've been a full-time entrepreneur for now 8 years. Okay, full time. I absolutely love what I do. I'm your number one email marketing strategist, system strategist, and I'm also a thought leader. So super excited about sharing today's message because I've been having a couple of conversations with a few of you guys and other things that I'm seeing on social about the word quitting. Ooh, that Q word. That Q word. Now, let's be transparent here. Go ahead and type me in the chat, y'all, if you ever thought of quitting your business. It could be quitting your business. It could be quitting, losing weight, whatever you ever thought. We're in today's October 1st. Happy October 1st, everyone, right? But if you ever thought of quitting something, right? If you ever thought of quitting something that's going to help you move ahead. I'm not talking about quitting a relationship because again, if the relationship wasn't working out or I'm not talking about like a romantic relationship. I'm talking about a romantic relationship plus a friendship or something like that. That I quit a partnership last week. I ain't gonna, I'm being honest, y'all. Listen, last week, baby, there was a little partnership project I was doing, right? Actually, two of them. And a lot of stuff was going on. I said, I'm out. I'm out. I quit. I quit. I quit. I quit. I'm not talking about in reference to that, because if you're in partnerships, relationships, or any type of friendships that is not helping you grow, that is bringing you down, yes, quit, because that's, it's just going to be a distraction, right? No matter what consequences come from it. Trees, do me a quick favor and bring up Merlina's comment. Go ahead and bring up Melina's comment. And while she's doing that, I want to just send out a quick, super fast final email blast, letting everybody know that we are live. Okay. Shout out to all of y'all who are in our streaming room over here on StreamYard. I love using that because that gives y'all that intimate space. And y'all had a chance to hop on when we were while we were figuring out what was going on with Facebook. So give me 1 second, love. Give me 1 second to send this out right now. And boom, just like that, the blast is sent. Okay. Because a lot of times you guys can't always depend on Facebook or Instagram or wherever to send out notifications. Email marketing. Okay. Send out that email list. All right. So Melina said, I was up early this morning and decided to hop on TikTok and sold 7 pieces and 4 in the morning. Yes, you got it. See, don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. All right. So that's what it is. Go ahead and type me in the chat if you ever felt that way. Let the good Lord guide your path. Yes, let the good Lord, absolutely let the good Lord guide your path, right? That is so important, Toya, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So yeah, y'all give Merlina love and congratulations, because that's a decision she made to not be, not, what's the word? Not follow that spirit of quitting and making that decision, right, to show up. So whenever, that's one great point, Melina. Thank you so much for being transparent. When you feel like quitting, just show up. Just show up, right? We all have those feelings and emotions. It's really the actions that we take each and every day to push through that feeling and emotion. That's what it's really about. Because I was just talking to one of my clients the other day, who also was talking about she thinking of quitting her business and things like that. And I said, where is that feeling coming from? Like, that doesn't just pop up out of thin air. That comes from somewhere. So we got to really address the source of that feeling and emotion, address that, not so much the feeling and emotions of that fact that you want to quit. Now I'm not talking in reference to a bad relationship or a bad friendship or a bad business partnership or a partnership. Some of y'all may be having partnerships within your churches, your congregation, that you may say, okay, this may be a church thing, but God's people are about to set me off. You know what I'm saying? About to, listen, okay, God's people, I maybe cuss them out, but it's is what it is. Not all people are that way, but some people you may be around may get you to that point. But then you got to ask yourself, should I just let me just remove myself? You're welcome, Alita. Let me just remove myself before I step out of my own character, right? Yes. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. Listen, for those of you who are just hopped on, my name is Leticia Campbell. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I'm your #1 email marketing strategist, system strategist, thought leader, all the things. And what we're talking about today is, if you're thinking of quitting, watch this entire video. Watch this entire video to the end first before you make a decision. Right? Merlina said, I love God, but some of his children, not so much. That's right. Not so much. Not so much. We still love them, but not like them. Not so much. That's a Merlina girl. Me and you could go on live for 2, 3, 4 days. That would be a series. Right? Amen. That would be a whole series, right? All right, y'all, let's go ahead and jump into today's conversation. If you're ready, go ahead and type in #ready. If you haven't already shared this broadcast out, go ahead and share it out right now. Go ahead and tag anybody on here that you have had conversations with, either in the past or recently, who has quit their business or are currently thinking of quitting, they definitely need to hear what we have to share with them today. I think it's important. We could talk about anything. We could talk about email marketing. We could talk about branding, all these other things that are the surface level, all those are surface. But we really want to get down to the foundation. Like you can have everything going on, products, services, everything going on. But inside, if you don't feel like moving forward, we got to address that issue before even moving on to the next step. All right. So thank you guys so much for putting the word ready in the chat. So let's go ahead and go into the first question I want to say is how to check if your passion still aligns with your business. I'm gonna have y'all answer that question. How do you check if your passion still aligns with your business? How do you check that? Right? Melina said a great example of how she just said, you know what? I feel like quitting. So instead of her quitting, she woke up early this morning, she went live on TikTok and she made sales, right? She could have just went to bed. She could have just, got on the phone and talked to her sister friends and say, "Oh my God, I feel like quitting." And they could have been that negative Nancy group, right? Is really instead of her feeding into that, she fed into herself, fed into her business. So that again, I want to ask y'all this question. How do you check if your passion still aligns with your business? You guys comment is going to help other people as well. So go ahead and just flood the comments with what your advice would be, right? Somebody told you, "Hey, I feel like quitting." So how are you going to help them check if their passion still aligns with their business? Okay. So passion is a real thing. I'm really passionate about my business and what I do because I'm so passionate about helping people. I'm so passionate about helping women move to the next step. As I help others move to their next step, it helps me move to my next step because we don't do this alone. And this is why I've been so much collaborating with other people like Meiyoko, like my clients, like people in the other businesses that I have, because that's also when you have other people who have that passion spirit and aligns with yours, y'all are able to move forward together. Passion is, we got to feed our passion every day. It's like filling our cup. We got to feed it every single day. So if our passion, for me helping people and me and also by default helping my cause, right? That aligns with my business. So go ahead and pull up hey Nakia, how are you? How are you? How are you? That's what it is. Because if you keep feeding your passion, right? And some of you guys, you feed your passion through the word of God. Some of you feed your passion through the word of God and listen to meditation videos every day. Some of you feed your passion to the word of God, listen to meditation videos every day, and also going back to the basics and saying, "Hey, let me pivot and add to or add more of something that I'm already doing." So Melina said, if you dread doing it, then you lost your passion, right? If you dread doing it. Now, not everything that you do in your business you're going to like to do, right? Let's say that. The key to success, I want y'all to write this down. The key to success is doing the same things over and over and over again, even when you don't feel like it. Okay? Those mundane tasks that we have to do in our business on a consistent basis, those daily operating procedures, right? That are just repetitive, whether you're doing it yourself right now or whether you're training to hire a virtual assistant or a family member to do those mundane tasks, still you have to monitor it as well. Those are the same things every single day. That you get so consistent with it, right? And it wills results. What you're consistent with will results, right? So that's so important. Hey, Meiyoko, he's here. He's here. How are you?
Oh, you started without me.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Listen, these girls don't like to wait. They got stuff to do, right, y'all? All right, Therese, can you change the colors? I think we were under the wrong the wrong branding. I think this is the other thing that we do.
Oh yeah,
All right, so
we got some nice purple going on,
yeah,
huh?
I know this is something else another show we do. But it's cute though. I like it. If you want to keep it, we'll
It's
run
cute.
with it. Yeah, so we just jumped into the first point. We just
Okay.
jumped into the first point. And so I asked everyone a question, Meiyoko. Have they ever at some point felt like quitting? A lot of them flood the comments saying that they did at some point feel like they're quitting. And so
Okay.
I asked them the question, how do they check their passion?
Mhm.
How does their passion still align with their business? We had a really good comment from Merlina. I want to know your perspective on it. She said,
Okay.
if you dread doing it, then you lost your passion. If you dread doing it, then you lost your passion.
Uh, hmm. I have a tendency to agree with that,
Mm-hmm.
but I also believe that sometimes when we lose perspective,
Mm-hmm.
we
Yep.
can dread doing something, right? Sometimes in the midst of our businesses and some of the things that happen, whether dealing with clients or dealing with aspects of the business, it may be very challenging at the time. And it may question whether or not we're supposed to be doing this, question if we want to do this. And sometimes when you shift the perspective to this is what I'm called to do or what I'm meant to do versus I don't feel good in the moment. Sometimes it's an in the moment type of thing. So I do agree with the statement. But on the flip side, I know there's situations where you're still passionate about it, but circumstance or being in the moment causes you to question that at the same time, if that makes sense to everybody. So
Oh yeah.
sometimes it's you have to ride out the moment. Sometimes it's a moment. It's not a particular end all be all. Sometimes it's a season, just like the seasons of leadership. Sometimes it's just a moment that you're stuck in or a moment that you're in at the time designed to teach you something or to actually repurpose the passion that you have. So I'll say yeah, but I say sometimes it's just a moment. It's a moment. So
Yes, that's why we got to have that passion check,
absolutely.
really got to that's having that passion check. Speaking of that, bring us to our next point for today is how to know if your ideal client needs wait, did I write that right? How to know your ideal client's needs have shifted.
Yeah, you got it
How
right.
got it. Needs have I'm like reading the comments in at the same time. How to know if the needs have shifted. I think that is very important. Why do you think that, Meiyoko?
Well, today's client might not be tomorrow's client. And here's what I mean. As you continue to grow as a coach, as a business owner, as a strategist, whatever it is that you do, your audience is going to grow with you, right? So sometimes you need to adjust their particular needs because as you help them, there's different stages of this, right? So there's people that come in at the entry level point. There's people that are actually getting progress based on some of the things that you're doing. And then there's people that want to go higher, right? You've got to be able to meet that particular need along your client journey. So it may not be that the business is failing or it's not as productive. You might have to look at your clientele and say, hey, you know what? Am I completely meeting the need that they have right now in the moment? I keep emphasizing in the moment because not everybody's journey is the same. So you got to be able to cover that entry level, that mid level, and then where they're trying to take it to the next level. Now, if you can't go here and you have the entry level and then the mid level, then you got to stick with that particular client base and how they're thinking. But I like to have the intro, people that are doing the work, getting results, and people that are like, what's the next stage of evolution?
Right. Right.
So that's how you know if their needs have shifted, because they're going to shift.
Mm-hmm.
It's not how to know, it's when their needs shift.
Right.
But you want to be able to walk them through every part of the process.
Right.
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 And if you don't, be able to point them to a resource or to someone that can help them ascend to wherever they're trying to go.
And I was just talking about partnerships. It's so interesting you said that. I'm
Okay.
so glad because that's where your partnerships come. Is a
Absolutely.
level of I wouldn't say destination, but there's a level that I can get people to that stops at a certain point, and where you come in and still and continue on with. And again, that's why I was just talking about that before you hopped on partnerships. It definitely helps us to stay aligned and not quit, and not quit. Sometimes we're doing too much,
Yep.
and you and I were talking last night about that P word, pivoting. Y'all go ahead and type in number 1 in the chat. Have you ever thought of pivoting, of heard of the word pivoting? And Meiyoko and I were talking about how people misunderstand that. Merlina said you have to be able to anticipate the needs and access your clients evolving. Yes, evolving, because they're evolving. We're all evolving, right? But Meiyoko was talking more about stages, and I hope y'all wrote that down because that's definitely important. So entrepreneurs sometimes have a misunderstanding of the word pivoting, right? You
Mm-hmm.
said some interesting things. Again, I hope y'all wrote that down of the different levels, right?
Right.
Sometimes we think that because our clients and customers are evolving, right, at different stages of our process, we may think, well, let me change everything, because now you're not getting the attention, you're not getting the engagement, and then you're not getting the sales coming in. So you assume that, well, maybe I just need to change everything, your branding, how you're showing up,
Right.
all the things, your colors, everything, to where it's like it almost looks like a totally different business,
Mm-hmm.
right? When really in reality, that's not really the need, you know. But people assume that that's what pivoting is. You know what I
Right.
mean? So we want to definitely break that misbelief that you guys have about the pivot word. Go ahead, Meiyoko.
And I would say you're not getting feedback from your clients.
Right. Right.
You're not communicating with your clients.
Mm-mm.
We talk about this all the time. Your relationship with the client begins the
Right.
moment they buy something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, how are you enjoying the product? What are your needs? What are your questions? What are your concerns? You got to go through all of that.
Right.
That way, when their needs change, you're on
Mhm.
it.
I hope y'all taking notes, guys, because I feel like I love having these conversations because I could tie into my lived experience of how, even with my clients, I had a conversation with my clients the other day, and she was saying how she sees so many people who are doing the similar business than what she's doing, and they're
Mhm.
evolving and they're doing all these things, but they're probably successful, which I know they are, because they ask those questions to their clients, their audience, their list, and they're just giving them what they want. We all have our own unique audience, and they may have a different expectation or want or need from us, but we don't ask that. We're not going to get there where we need to go. We're not going to reach those goals. We're not going to close out this year, with success. Meiyoko and I are always listening to you guys, which made us also decide to pivot a little bit. Our structure is still the same. You know what I'm saying? But how we align and what we offer, we shifted some things. And that is important because, again, the needs. Can y'all write down that word in the chat? Needs. The needs of your audience shifts, not you per se, not how you show up or how your branding looks and how your colors looks, or not, the needs. So you got to really make a decision, decide to want to know what those needs are, and follow through with it, with your audience. Actually show up to where people say, oh, Meiyoko and Leticia are listening to us. They're not talking about this over here when we really want this right here. You can
Yep.
still fish, but just change the bait. That's it. Just change the bait. All right.
Look,
So
look, even I'm taking notes, and we're the ones doing the show.
stop it. I see you over there. I know. Oh God, we're gonna have a long conversation after this.
So, but here's the thing. Like, this is what separates a great business owner from a good one. You've got to be so in tune with your clientele that you can anticipate exactly what new problem is going to happen. Now, let me explain this. Because you're going to be like, oh, why? If they have problems, are we really doing the job? Yes. Now, everybody write this down, please, what I'm about to tell you. Every step of your ascension ladder, like if you have a low ticket product, mid ticket product, high ticket product, right? Every one should solve a problem and create a new one. I want everybody to write that down because people aren't going to tell you this. Because you go, oh man, isn't it supposed to solve a problem? Yes. And it's supposed to create a new one. Let me give you an example. All right. We have something called a signature process builder. It shows you how to create a methodology for your business, your service, right? Because everybody needs to understand with clarity what your process is. It builds trust and it gets them closer to the sales cycle, to buying. Now, all right, I have the methodology. They're clear. The process is good. Now you solve that problem, but here's another problem. How do I articulate this? I got the methodology, but how do I do it in my posts? How do I engage in conversation with people? So you see how I solve one problem, but now it leads to another one. So I may say, got you covered. Got you covered. We created something that's going to help you crank out posts, have good or better conversations with your clientele, you're going to attract clients. And guess what? You're going to do it with prompts and you're going to do it with AI. So now you don't got to spend hours at a time trying to figure this thing out. All right. Now, here's another problem. So you solve the problem. Man, I can do this cranking out posts, but I got to tweak things. It's not really working exactly like I expected. So I need help now. I need you to come and I need you to walk me through this step by step so I get this right. Do you see how I solve a problem and I create another problem? If you're getting this, please type a 1 in the chat because this works for every single industry. Everyone. You solve a problem, but you create another one. Perfect.
100%. I hope y'all wrote that down.
And listen, take anything from this live stream. If you remember that,
yep,
you will make a lot of money.
Yes, you will. You would definitely
help a lot of people
with success. Yes. And again, he mentioned that our signature process. If y'all interested in learning more information about that, just go ahead and type 7 in the chat. We'll send you the information so you can go ahead and grab your signature process guide. You want to go ahead and type the number 7 in the chat, and we'll get that over to you. Thank you, guys. All right. So our last point we want to make for today, y'all. And again, I hope y'all are taking notes after notes because this is definitely going to set y'all for success. How to analyze your sales process before making a final decision. The final decision, like we said earlier, you guys saying, oh, I quit. So before you're thinking of quitting your business, right? First, analyze your sales process. See if it makes sense. Where are the gaps? You're going to talk about that. We was talking about that last night. Like, okay, let's figure out where the gaps is in our personal sales process we have with our partnership that we have with each other. Where are the gaps? There's always a gap. There's always a misconnection where people are falling off, right? Is it the front end? Is the front, middle, or at the end? What stage where you're getting people in, but they're not getting interested? Annette, she's on here. Me and Annette were talking about this in the Uber yesterday. We were on our way to a meeting, and we talked about how we in a company that they bring people on, but the retention is like this. Bam, Meiyoko. It's like people come in and drop. And I was like, there's going to be a bigger problem next year if they don't fix that, because we get to become so good at showing up and getting people into our world and into what we're doing. But then when we get to the middle or the end of our process, they're not coming on, or people may have a front end issue. Mm-hmm. They're not getting any leads coming in at all. They could be showing up every day. We hear that a lot all the time. Meiyoko, I'm coming all the time. I post, I do all these things, but it's not working. So again, analyzing is important before you say, okay, let me just throw everything off the table and quit. Because quitting is final. Once you ruin that trust, people don't, unless you get new people hopping on, people don't normally say, all right, you're back again, let's do it. Because they're going to have in their mind, oh, she's just going to, quit again. Right. I hate that word quitting. I was telling somebody this a couple of weeks ago, and that knows who I'm talking about. I say, if you're going to talk about quitting all the time, girl, we have a misalignment. Because I can hear it like once or twice, but when you keep going on, I'm like, all right, we can't talk at this point, because that's just in your spirit, just saying, let me go. But I know a lot of you are not like that. But go ahead, Meiyoko.
I was going to say, when it comes to analyzing your sales process, right? Because when people hear that word sales, right, they go somewhere else mentally. How to analyze your trust process. Because that's what you're talking. People buy from people they trust. They know, like, and trust, right? But that trust is a big one. So analyze your know, like, and trust process before making a final decision. Would you buy from you? If your business was laid out this particular way, would you buy from you? Would you buy from yourself? Man, we complain sometimes about fruit that don't look right in the grocery store. So would you really buy from yourself? How's your presentation? How's your representation? Leticia over there laughing because she know I'm telling the truth. Oh, my fries was cold, man. Give these fries back. My fries was too cold. Would you buy from yourself? This is a gut check. Would you buy from yourself? If you would not buy from yourself with 1000% confidence, then you got to look at your trust, know, like, and trust process.
There you go.
And I think from now on, that's what we call the sales process.
Yes.
The know, like, and trust process. The KLT.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
like KFC.
Some of y'all don't even trust yourselves.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Man, I think we should let them marinate on that.
I got nothing else to say.
I don't either. I honestly don't. And I'm just going to work in what the Lord is telling us to do right now and just let y'all process that and take action and go ahead and type in the number 7, because that alone is going to absolutely, we're going to call it the trust process, the KLT. That's what we're calling the KLT. And because it's very important that y'all make the decision to get access to that, because that's going to definitely prevent you from quitting. Because
now
you can.
I do want to stop you 1 second.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, this is a perfect example because real time, we just actually made a sales, added to a sales system just from this live stream.
What they call it on live? What do they call it? Right here. Y'all saw it in person, live happening.
You heard it
Godfrey.
first.
How you doing,
What's up, Godfrey? What's up, man?
Yeah, yes. He said KLT ? Godfrey, we got you. Don't worry about it. Meiyoko got you. He said, I think he wants to grab that. I'm going to have Meiyoko help you with that. But yes, everyone else, I'll reach out to you guys. Those of you who type 7 in the chat, even if you're on a replay right now, go ahead and type in number 7 so you can get access to we're going to call it the KLT process, right? That's what we call it, Meiyoko. We're going to call it that. Yep. You heard it here first.
Yep.
Okay. So, all right,
taking notes now.
Yes, I know. I believe you.
Y'all will have a KLT process. Process.
Yes. So if you guys got any value out of this, go ahead and let us know in the chat. We do have a hot seat. So if y'all interested in coming on the panel and asking your questions, just go ahead and type me in the chat. We'll share the link so you guys can come right on here on StreamYard and ask us whatever question that you like. Teresa's been putting this link in the chat throughout the show. And a lot of times it's better for you to talk than type. So we invite you guys to come on and, whatever question you would like to ask. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. I know some of you are at work, but we would love to.
Wait. If you're not able to be on camera, you don't have to be on camera. But if you can turn that camera on and ask your question, turn that camera on.
Yes. If you're able to. Yes.
Oh, Trees, if you don't mind, when you actually list this, I want you to put the question, who wants to be in the hot seat? Question mark.
Yes. I like that. 100%. So y'all can just go ahead and click that link, or you may have to copy and paste it and add it to your search bar on either Chrome or whatever your.
Do we have anybody today that wants to get
on?
Nope,
I don't see anybody on, but wait about a couple more seconds and then we'll get on. In the meantime, again, if you are interested in getting access to our signature sales process, which we're about to call it the KLT, go ahead and type in the number 7 in the chat, and we'll make sure to go ahead and make sure you get a copy of that. But thank you guys so much for joining and hopping on. This was by far an amazing conversation, because I know I've been having conversations with people who are thinking about quitting what they're doing, their business and what have you. Is normally, I think it's just the time of the year. Like you talk about the seasons of leadership, you talk about that all the time, Meiyoko. I think it's definitely that time of the year where people this time of year have a greater demand on life, with the holidays, with all these different themes. Like I know this month is breast cancer awareness month. Next month is caregivers month. It's like so much going on, people sometimes deflect that onto their business.
This is the time of year where you're either very happy of how the year has went, or you're very pissed, or you're depressed.
Right.
This is the time where you start to reevaluate the year, because you're moving into the last quarter.
I agree. I agree. I agree. So I don't see anybody on, which is fine, but we appreciate you guys so much for joining us. Y'all were
Yes, we
definitely
do.
blowing up the chat today. We so appreciate that. Again, make sure you set your notifications so because whenever we go live, you get the notifications on. And we'll see y'all on our next show, guys. Thank y'all for hopping
Great.
on.
Ladies and gentlemen, talk to you soon.
Bye bye.